But my thing is, look, if you don't have anything to say good about your own kind, don't say anything at all. Please do not put that in the atmosphere to put down another black man or black woman, please.
WACP, the place to be, for we are creative people, and some place to be in a discussion about black men, white women. And we have on the line with us a person of the day, and that is Bernadette Allen. Bernadette, can you come in with us on this discussion? There seem to be a lot of controversy, a lot of conversation on this subject. I mean, we're told that we should be colorblind.
Well, thanks for having me. Of course, I have continued to look at this very, very closely, and I have continued to talk to different ones about the things that I'm seeing with my eyes. And there are a lot of people that are kind of turning the cheek and trying to look in the opposite direction. And to me, there are a lot of excuses being made. But just like when I talk to black men, and of course, this seems to be what's going on at this hour, is that you have many, many black men who are dating white women and marrying white women. And if you try to have a conversation with some of these black men, they give you all kind of excuses. And, you know, the thing is that you can't help who you love and or who you fall in love with. And, you know, and there should be a colorblind society because we are all God's people, and God wouldn't want it that way where, you know, I mean, since he's the creator, you know, it's like a colorblind thing. But maybe it would have been like that in this country had it started off that way. But as a people enslaved, and the way the slave master has treated black people in this country, you know, how can we look at it that way? I know I can't look at it that way. Maybe if it had started out that way, colorblind, then maybe it would be a different scenario, but that's not the way it is.
Well, do you think that this is some kind of payback where the black man has feel that he needs to pay back the white man, so he's going to get his woman, or is it because the black man has been conditioned to think that the white woman is better because she is white?
Well, I would like to say, first of all, when you sit down and you watch television, that's all you see. You know, if you look after commercial, and mainly, you know, of course, white people dominate the airwaves. So what are black men seeing every day? What are black women seeing every day? You know, when you turn on the television, that's what you're seeing. So I think it is a great conditioning that has taken place. Because if that's all you're seeing, you know, you're not seeing. You see some black women on television in commercials and whatnot, or on TV, but you see them few and far and in between. It's sparse. So I believe it is a conditioning. I mean, why would black men not want to see, just like all these hair commercials, you see white women with their hair flowing all on the commercials. I mean, you know, and so when black men look at white women and they've been so conditioned on that television, why would they not want a white woman?
So it's TV, it's the colleges and universities that these sports and entertainers attend, and basically these colleges, that's all you see there. You know, your classes, your classmates, they're all white girls.
Well, first of all, there aren't that many black men in the colleges to begin with. I mean, there's some, but there's not a whole lot of black men who have the opportunity to go to college. I mean, a lot of them in this society, I hate to say it, a lot of them barely get out of high school, you know. But I even have a relative right now that I'm cringing over. He's getting ready to graduate. He's graduating with honors, He's like 6'4", and to me that's creme de la creme. A black man, an educated black man, getting ready to graduate with honors, and he has a white female. And I had a conversation with his mother about that. And his own mother, I said, well, the white women are causing a rift in the black family. And she said to me, well, there could be a black woman that could cause a rift between, in a black family. Well, this is true, but in my mind it sounded like she was trying to justify her own black son being with a white woman. And I was blown away by that.
Now tell us about what you know about Don Cornelius and some others. We were talking about Russian women and this type of thing. I mean, Seal and his wife and everything. So can you give us a lowdown on that?
Well, I've been following a lot of this, and of course, Don Cornelius, yes, he was married to a Russian woman, and that seemed to have caused great strife for him. They are of a different culture, and I think that these men really don't understand when they get involved with some of these women, the different cultures and how different these women are. And, there's been some documentaries in reference to their culture and specifically what they're looking for. They're looking for, men of substance, men that have money. In the documentaries, they come from very impoverished places in Russia, and so they're like mail-order brides, a lot of them. And so anyway, he ended up with this woman, and it clearly stated that there was a hatred that he had spawned upon this woman because it was obviously a situation that had gone very, very badly. And so I guess with his illness and whatever was going on with, her culture, it caused great problems for him. And, I mean, my God, the man committed suicide. Another one is Terrence Howard right now. He's with a Russian woman, and he's having some major, major problems. And it appears that they will put your business out there. It's almost like a great vindictiveness that these women have. If things don't go their way, they will bring harm upon you. Now, he's not a black man, but Mel Gibson was with a Russian woman, and everybody knows how badly and poorly that situation went. So, I mean, if they will do this with somebody that kind of looks like them, it may be, a white person from this society. But, I mean, if you see what happened with him. But anyway, I did a little more research with all of this, and a lot of these Russian women have gone after Turkish men. And from my understanding and my readings, some of these women have ended up in body bags sent back to Russia. And some of them have tried, had to get away from some of these Turkish men because now we're getting into another whole different culture.
Wow.
So I just think, people need to understand and maybe investigate more before they, start getting involved with some of these women that a lot of them maybe haven't done any kind of study or have any kind of understanding of their culture.
Now you mentioned television. When I have the opportunity or had the opportunity, because I basically turned it off and unplugged it, they started off talking about, well, pay for cable because with cable you're going to get commercial free. And then they eased in one or two commercials, and now on cable you can't watch the program for watching commercials. More commercials than program. So these commercials, I mean, I watch these commercials and it's like every other commercial is a white woman ooh, my hair is so soft and so silky. Oh, I'm just the goddess of the world, And
Sure.
black men and black women are watching these commercials, and we see it in the examples of our sisters on how they're looking. They want to look just like Beyonce have promoted, the look, and they want to be and feel like this woman that they're looking at on television. Ooh, I'm so glamorous. Ooh, don't you want me? Coming out in our underwear and everything. So that television has a lot to do with what we're talking about. Can you talk about that some more?
Well, I will give you the example of the latest Super Bowl, Super Bowl 2012.
Madonna.
Madonna, but no, not in this instance. There was one commercial in there. Excuse me. I think she was putting on a garter belt. It was a flower commercial for Valentine's Day, and there was a comment that was made, and I don't quite remember the comment, but the sisters were watching, and it was a positive comment that was made. In other words, it's like, men get with this, and the sisters were happy about the comment that was made. Oh, it was like something like, it's not that hard, men, to make something happen for your lady on Valentine's Day. And the sisters were really excited about the comment, but I said to one of the other sisters that was sitting next to me, I'm like, I hear the comments that the sisters are making. I said, but the problem is that their black men want what looks like her, because it was a white female that did the commercial, and it's like, they're not wanting the sisters. They want what looks like her on the television.
Wow.
And I just said, this is amazing that I could hear sisters in a positive, making positive comments, but the brothers, a lot of them don't want the sisters that look like them. And then the other thing is I see that black women have gone with now hair that is now down their backs. It's like sisters are getting hair longer and longer. It's like I guess they're not trying to be outdone. They see all the flowing locks on TV with the white women, and now I see so many sisters that have gotten hair, whether it's a wig or whether it's hair weave, but they're going longer and longer and longer.
Which is, if it's their own hair, we're talking something different. But none of this is their own hair. We're talking about quick fix. So you want to look like somebody else quick. So you go to the Korean store and you purchase that look.
That's what sisters are doing. And then I think it's a lot of psychological problems that are taking place because brothers, and I've experienced this myself, where brothers will say things to a sister. Sometimes a sister will put like a scarf on her head at night or something like that. And brothers may say something about a scarf on a sister's head. Now, if a white woman, I guess, is lying next to a brother, her hair is just all over the pillow.
Yeah.
And so that's more attractive to them, is to have a woman with her hair loose. Now, I'm not saying that all sisters may wear a scarf on her head or something like that. When
actually, that's a part of the culture that we come from, and it's a part of cleanliness. It's a part of grooming. It's a part of knowing that when you go to bed, you prepare. You brush your teeth. You certain things you do, and that's just one of the things that we're taught to do.
Well, but some brothers do see it as a problem, and they condemn sisters for it, and and it's like a lot of the talk that I hear, brothers are not they're not building sisters up. And if you're talking about somebody's hair and you keep condemning them, I think that there is a conditioning now that's taking place with sisters where they're trying to have a certain look. So it's like they're trying to put themselves in a light to look good for a black man. And then it may be working to a degree. Some of the younger black men seem to be more acceptance of the hair weave and so forth. But then you have a lot of men who will criticize sisters. Oh, you got this hair weave in, and it's a very critical thing that they do upon the sisters. So I think there's a lot of psychological pain and hurt that's going on.
A whole lot. It's like when someone is in the war, they teach them to shoot and kill and everything, and then when they're brought home, there's nothing done to get that out of their system. So, I mean, they wreak havoc on their families and the rest of the world. Well, the same conditioning with slavery and Jim Crow and the whole 9 yards with what we've been taught, that white is right. If you're black, get back. If you're brown, you're mellow. If you're yellow, you're mellow. If you're brown, stick around. This whole notion that black is not beautiful have been pushed down our throat by watching television, and subconsciously we take this on in our mind. Don't even know. We don't even realize that that's what we're doing when we're sitting there watching this thing. That we're taking on all of everything that they're pushing and promoting. We're getting it. We're getting it. If you turn that thing off, you'll see that, wait a minute, do I really think this way? And then when you meet somebody and they look like the person that you continually see on that television and you so-called fall in love, is it really love, or is it something that you've been trained to think or to do or to want or to achieve to, So, where are we going from here? J. Anthony Brown, he promotes it. He is the ultimate man to speak about being with a white woman, like it's something like a medal,
Well, and I've done quite a bit of research, and I've talked to white women because I've asked them, what do you all think? I mean, because it's, I'm out and I do different venues, and I see all of this right before my eyes. Here in Georgia, going from North Georgia to South Georgia, I've seen it out there so thick, where you have black men and white women, and then you see their children, and a lot of them have the blonde hair and everything, and these children don't look anything like their fathers. And my thing is how is it that a black man wants to produce something that doesn't look anything like them? And I mean, I'm not a man, but if I were a man, and you've heard these songs, if I were a boy, but if I was a man, I think for me, I'd rather have something looking like me. But it's like they don't want anything looking like me.
Yeah.
And so I see all these little children that have this blonde hair. And, two black people can produce an albini baby.
Right.
But that is a gene situation that occurs within two black people, where an albini, and that's a whole nother study that I've done on the albini the production. However, I see all these men with these children that have blonde hair, and that just doesn't sit well with me. But I see it over and over and over.
Now we're talking. Some people would say that we're racist or we're not being real. I mean, love is love. Love is blind. Love, But what about the economics?
Well, and I agree with you. Some people have said, well, Ms. Allen, you're being a racist. But the economics is certainly decaying the black family and the black unity, as far as I'm concerned, because it does take a lot away. I mean, there can be no union. It's almost like it is the black seed between a black man and a black woman. I would say that it's causing, what is the word in reference to, it's taking away from the black union. If you can't have any kind of real stability, with bringing black children into the world. You are bringing something else, and maybe that's why they're talking about the world is going to be brown in 2050.
Well, when you really look at it, as you started this conversation, talking about how everything here was started, and it would probably not, we wouldn't be talking about this if it did not start the way it started,
right,
with the white slave master, with black men and black women and black families being tortured, murdered, raped, and worked for several hundreds of years with no pay, and still, second class, still being profiled, still filling up the jail, still being number one in health care victims, heart disease and you name it, down the board, across the scale, number one. How did it get that way? And if that's not racism, then what is it? And it makes our conversation valid, to talk about this. If we didn't discuss it, then something just keeps happening, and you letting it fester in the community, and after a minute, all of your funds are gone, all of the black men are in jail, all of the black women are dissatisfied, and turning to some other thing, like Whitney Houston or whatever. Where do we go? What do we do?
Well, those are very, very, very valid points, and excuse me. One of the things that I was in talking to white men about this. White men have said that white women were raised to be submissive, and they feel that it is easier for black men to be with a white woman because she was raised to be submissive, and that it's more difficult for a black woman because black women were not raised to be submissive. If a black woman doesn't take care of herself, in many instances, a black woman will not be taken care of. She
Absolutely.
doesn't take care of herself.
She raised the family. She is the family.
Correct. And she's had to do this, and raise their families too.
Absolutely. At the same time.
Right. Back in slavery and so forth. But that's some of the comments from the white men, is that's why they feel that it's easier for black men, because these white women have been raised to be submissive. Now, white women, in some of the conversations that I've had with them, is they're saying that white women are rebelling against white men.
Well, the white woman, when was it that she had the ability to vote? Who was the first woman millionaire? It wasn't a white woman. It was a black woman that was the first woman millionaire. Let's make that distinction. So yeah, that's true. The white woman is a special entity in this whole scheme of things, and looks like the white man has leashed her or released her on the black man.
Well, and that's another thing that's been on television. If you look at a number of these shows, one of the shows, and I can't think of the name of it, but it's one of the Wayans brothers. He's on the show where he's kissing a white woman. He's married to a white woman on television. And there's more and more shows out there where you're seeing black men with white women on television. It's like it's a scenario that's being promoted now. But you're not seeing, every now and then you may see a black woman and a white man, but it's very, very pronounced, the scenario where you're seeing black men and white women all on television, on the soaps and everything else, where they're showing them together. I mean, it used to be taboo to have a black man on television kissing on a white woman, but now you see them kissing and in the bed and everything else on TV.
And you know that it would not be if it were not sanctioned by Hollywood. It just would not happen. So this is something that's being promoted. Even Tyler Perry sent out a letter to his fan base saying, go watch Red Tail, because Red Tail, obviously, as far as Hollywood is concerned, is one of the last few all-black cast movies, because Hollywood don't want that anymore. As a result, people did rush out to see Red Tail, and, but we don't know. That was their opinion before, and it will still be their opinion after. But the whole ideal of even Red Tail, that's black men supporting some warmongering situation where black people are being used again to go and kill up somebody that ain't even their enemy.
Right.
So on and on and on. We are part of the plot to do what? To be the stars of somebody else's movie, and while we're starring in the movie, they taking the funds all to the bank, and we're just representing what they want people to see.
Absolutely.
Well,
maybe in their minds they think of it as doing something right. I mean, it is history, and it did happen. However, as you say, black people haven't started any wars.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we've had to defend ourselves in many ways.
Yeah, and every day. I was in court the other day, and everybody in the court, minus 1%, were black people, male, female. Yeah. And everybody behind the authority of being able to release you or give you a fine or whatever, were all black people as well. The judges, all of the bailiffs, all of the people. The only people that I saw predominantly was white male attorneys. And even they were representing the few 1% white people that were there, because the blacks could not afford attorneys. All right, well, we're going to end this conversation, but we're not going to end this conversation. We're going to continue it on this particular subject. Type in, ask questions, make comments right underneath this particular video, audio, and we will constantly upgrade and add to this communique conversation. You've been talking with Professor Dr. Bernadette Allen, and she's an activist, and she is very well versed on a lot of different subjects. This subject happened to be black men, white women. So stay tuned to WACP, the place to be, for we are creative people.
But my thing is, look, if you don't have anything to say good about your own kind, don't say anything at all. Please do not put that in the atmosphere to put down another black man or black woman, please.